This week, Germany has been witness to an unprecedented crackdown. A terrorist has been jailed for more than 10 years, a radical group has been outlawed, and police has been carrying out early morning raids. These are three different stories, but they're all connected because they target only one terrorist group, the Islamic State or the ISIS. After France, Germany is combating radicalization at home. The threat has been around for years, but the system chose to confront it only recently. In September last year, German security forces identified 627 potential terrorists. Now it has banned a group, the Jamaatu Berlin. That's what it's called. It's a radical Islamist group. It threatened to challenge the German constitution. So what is the Jamaatu Berlin? This is what we know so far. This group supported the Islamic State. It rejected the German constitution. It called for Sharia as the sole legitimate law. Sharia is the Islamic legal system. It dictates every aspect of daily life for a Muslim. Some countries follow the Sharia. Germany is not one of them. But this group wanted Sharia to replace the German constitution. It also called for the death of Jews and propagated what's being called a martyr cult.
The organization supports the armed jihad. All the way to the suicide attacks, it propagates a martyr cult, which increases a readiness for attacks, and it propagates the destruction of countries and killing of people, at least in religion-related disputes in the concerned countries.
Germany slapped a ban on this group. Here's what followed. German cops led a sweeping raid in Berlin and nearby areas. This was on Thursday morning. Reports say more than 800 cops, including members of the German Special Operations Commandos, were part of this. They struck at more than 20 locations. These were properties belonging to the group's members. 19 members of the Jamaatu Berlin were the focus of these raids. The group itself has been under surveillance for 2 years now.
Is the number of police that were active in these raids, 850 in 28 locations. You see how many policemen there were in every of those locations. They were actually focusing on 3 city districts that are known to be inhabited by many Muslims and many migrants.
The Germans described them as a jihad Salafist association. Now, by definition, Salafism is about living in accordance with Islam in the same way as the first 3 generations of Muslims did. It's an ideology that's inherently non-political, but radicals have misused it to justify violence, to realize their religious and political aims. Germany sees radical Salafists as a growing terror threat. Last year, a report claimed that nearly 30,000 people in Germany could be, quote-unquote, potential supporters of Islamist terrorism. 30,000 people. More than 12,000 of them have been identified as Salafists, and their circles, quote-unquote, remain the main support base for violent jihadism. The Salafist ideology has been used by the Islamic State as a recruiting tool, especially in countries like Germany. The ISIS has recruited hundreds of Germans. Reports say by July last year, 300 Islamist fighters returned to Germany from ISIS-held territories in Syria and Iraq. The German security forces classified 109 of them as quote-unquote agitators and 90 as relevant persons. But the threat is far bigger. These radicalized fighters pose a risk not just outside Germany, but to Germans at home as well. Back in 2016, just before Christmas, an attacker drove a truck into a Christmas market in Berlin. 12 people died, 56 were hurt. Anis Amri was the terrorist behind the attack. He frequented the same mosque that was attended by the members of the Jamaatu Berlin, the same group that has now been banned by Germany. Amri knew another man, a preacher, the de facto recruiter of ISIS in Germany. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.